I want to touch a little on the apathy that I see online these days about any sort of reports coming out regarding the Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast that he releases about the Clippers, the investigation, and all that stuff, right? Because, last night, as I'm recording this video, he had a lot of papers just like he did 10 months ago. And the story goes that a lot of the stories that we've seen over the last 10 months seem to be repeating itself now, where Kawhi, more LLCs on the way. Apparently, these were teased months ago. But in last night's pod is where, they really investigated where RIFC came from here. Apparently, it's from a soccer club called Rhode Island FC. Wow. Pablo got in touch with one of the people that are running that club at the time, wanting to know the links between Kawhi and this club and football. There you happy? Very skittish response was given to Pablo. And then he went up to his boss, who seemingly had the same first name as him, Brett Johnson, who's the owner of the team. And then when he got back to Pablo soon after, like very soon after, he was very prompt, very firm. The team is not willing to make any kind of comment on our investor stack. Wow. Very suspicious stuff going on there. Now, one thing I found cool in this pod was he talked about the local reporting that was being done in Rhode Island. And apparently they scooped up a lot of things. They investigate a lot of things in that state. And they get the reporter to actually go up to said owner of that club and confirm that Kawhi, not just Kawhi, his uncle, Dennis Robertson, and also another associate of Kawhi, Mitch Frankel, were all investors in this football club. And all this money invested alongside Brett Johnson's money, who's the owner of the football club, right, would ensure that he could build the stadium fully privately funded. Unfortunately, though, this was before the pandemic when he wanted to do that. And then after the pandemic, let's just say the government had to be involved. The taxpayer had to be on the hook for it. And there was a vote that had to be done in order to get the public to subsidize the stadium. And the governor of Rhode Island was actually the one to break the tie in this vote. So yeah, it seems like the governor had a vested interest in this being done as well. Oh boy. Where this story gets juicy here is where apparently Brett Johnson and the governor of Rhode Island both get invited to be at the season opener of the Clippers at Intuit Dome against the Suns in 2025, okay? This is last year. This was going on during the Pablo Torre investigation. Oh, man. You can even see the calendar from the governor around that time where from 9:45 to 11:45 p.m. Eastern, there would be a private matter to be handled, and that was scheduled there. Seems like this times well with the game going on, which started at 10:30 Eastern, so I guess he came there pre-game and might have hashed it out with Steve Ballmer and company, and Kawhi must have been there too. Then the governor gets interviewed about this whole ordeal, and he's stammering all throughout the interview, trying not to say no. He's not giving a clear answer to any of the questions asked about Kawhi's involvement in the Rhode Island Football Club. And then we find out that the governor and the owner of Rhode Island FC got the tickets from 380 AMK, who are the same people that are managing the brand Visit Rwanda, who apparently that's the Clippers' latest jersey patch. Okay, that's the latest jersey patch the Clippers are wearing. So they were wearing Aspirations. No, they're wearing Visit Rwanda now. And then at the very end of this pod is where we get not just to questions being raised, but we get to the catch of it all. Kawhi's investment in part was made to help with the housing, add jobs, add housing to the state that is desperately in need of housing. One big issue in Rhode Island apparently is the housing shortage that is going on right now. It's a crisis. They're even saying to Pablo, oh, we made significant progress on the housing component of the project. We have brought out 2 national development partners and finalized both city and state permitting from over 400 units of housing on the east side of the project, which is now in full design. Construction will begin as soon as that design work is complete. Interesting. And so yes, Kawhi's investment, in part is to help not just with the stadium, but with the housing opportunities that were very key here for the development. And then Pablo reveals how many houses have been built up to this point. And apparently the answer is 0! 0 houses have been built, bro. And now we get to talk about the reaction to all this being dropped. And a lot more people than I expected, were not surprised. They were not like, "Oh my god, this is bullshit." They were just tired. They were jaded. They were bored. They felt more so apathetic about the whole situation. And I get it. Like we see this all the time with corruption, especially when you're online. You see a lot of bad headlines out there about the rich getting away with bullshit that the ordinary man and woman would not be able to get away with. I also feel this way sometimes too. I feel jaded, especially when I see all the headlines and it compounds upon each other, especially affects my mood too. I start feeling weird, like, oh my days. I start feeling just cynical about the world. I see a lot of things happening and I'm just looking at it like, of course this will happen. Of course this is happening now. Oh, I'm not surprised. Of course. Another nail to put on my back. I mean, I'm just getting screwed all day. Like that's how people feel, especially with their IRL situation, right? People go to work, they probably feel like they're getting screwed over there. So they come back, they look at their feeds, and they feel like they're just seeing people get screwed over there online as well. And it's like, what can you do, right? This is the world we live in, right? This is what you end up hearing. And I think the worst one that I hear when it comes to this conversation of Steve Ballmer and what he's able to get away with. All owners do it, bro. Bro, you think he's the only one to do it? You think the Raptors aren't doing this too? Like, you think every team is not doing this, bro? Like, come on. That to me, there's whataboutism, right? People keep throwing this as a way to deflect, as a way to just downplay how bad the Steve Ballmer situation is. Oh, he just happened to be one of the stupid ones to get caught. Bro, the fact that we get to hold somebody accountable, we should not be trying to play this whataboutism game. All it does is benefit the powers that be when we keep infighting like this. Because this is what this is, right? A class war. The rich are able to get away with all this crap. And everybody else that's, getting their stuff stolen from them are fighting about the most tedious things. They're going into semantics, talking about, well, they all do it. This is just the world we live in. Look. We're in a situation right now. Because of how much of a stink Pablo has made about this shit, the NBA is now forced to actually do something about it, and they're dragging their feet. They're praying the story goes away, and because the Raptors and the Clippers now have traded Kawhi, it's actually making the process go faster now. The NBA is now actually feeling more pressure to actually resolve, quote unquote, this thing, right? And their way of resolving it, we'll see how it turns out. Look, man, whatever happens, I think this is a step in the right direction. People are jaded because it feels like nothing is going to happen. It feels like, oh man, we're just gonna see these dudes get away with it. I think what Pablo's doing is great work. Okay, you might not like the style, the way he delivers it, right? And you might not like that not much is coming out of it, but that's by design. The NBA doesn't want to address this. What Pablo's doing is fanning the flames so that it could stink up the place to where, the NBA is gonna be forced to have to address this. And I think, from my standpoint, from what I can do, I think, honestly, bro, the way I'm approaching this next NBA season coming up, bro, is I'm going to try to fan the flames on some stuff that I just hate about the NBA so that, maybe we can create enough of a noise about some of the things that, need to be resolved, quote unquote. Look, I think what Pablo's doing, more people need to do it. And I'm not saying I'm going to be an investigative journalist. Fuck no. I don't got the expertise, nor do I have the resources to do all that. But my thing is, bro, I get to yap about things that I fucking care about in this fucking NBA world. And so you're going to hear a lot more about me and what I think about some of these kerfuffles that be going around. I might make a video about how useless Twitter is becoming, right? You got to really curate your feed these days to really have a proper experience scrolling through and actually seeing the news. Bro, half of the tweets I see from these aggregators, from the fucking ESPNs and Sportsnets of the world, is just rehashing shit that's been reported on weeks, months, if not years ago. It's actually disgusting. I might make a whole video about that soon. You know what, bro? I'm gonna see y'all when I see y'all, bro. I just wanted to get this off my chest because I've noticed this apathy, and I feel like we shouldn't really have to feel this way. there's a lot that we can do in our own lives, and there's a lot that we can do online with whatever platform we have, whatever, things that you do online that can actually course correct a lot of this stuff, right? Be the change you want to see in the world, right? I love that saying, right? It's a great saying. I feel like we got to be the change first, and then, things can actually get better in the world. All right, bro. I'm going to see y'all when I see y'all, bro. Have a good one. Peace out.